everybody, it's me, Timmy Flyers Guy, and welcome to another video where I discuss Flyer season, another Flyer season. And in this video, I want to talk about the last great Philadelphia Flyer season, and that season would have to be the 2019-2020 Philadelphia Flyers season. In today's video, let's talk about how that went down. In the previous year, 2018-2019, Flyers needed a mascot. They got their mascot, and his name was Gritty, and he made an impact on the city. His name was Gritty, and he made an impact on the city of Philadelphia real quickly in the previous season. This was Gritty's second season, but that is not why we are here. I do have if you want to hear about Gritty, I got a lot of Gritty videos on my YouTube channel. I got one in Classic Flyers Theater, if you want to check that out. You heard the beginning of Gritty. But in this video, I want to talk about the 2019-2020 Philadelphia Flyers. A season that started out with high expectations. Beginning of the season, Flyers looked really good. There were times when the Flyers struggled. There were times when the goaltender, that shall not be named, struggled as well. And also, the Flyers ended the first half of that season with a victory over the New York Rangers over the New York Rangers a day before Christmas Eve. Couple days before Christmas. Flyers were looking good until the lackluster road trip. Flyers lost every game on that road trip, but came back to Philly, hungry for wins. Flyers did well in January through March. During the deadline, the Flyers got two new acquisitions. Derek Grant and Nate Thompson. Those two served well for the Philadelphia Flyers. Flyers went on a tear in the month of March. In one game in particular, this was the last time we'd see the Flyers play at the Wells Fargo Center that season. Not the last game completely. The last game of that season. And it was a game against the Boston Bruins. Before the game, Jim Jackson came on and said that there is something going on. And this was an omen of things to come. He said there was a health emergency and he hopes that everyone stays healthy. Once the game ended, Flyers' next game was a game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I woke up the next day, and a pandemic happened. And it was the first major pandemic in years. The game against the Tampa Bay Lightning was canceled due to an outbreak, due to the 2020 pandemic. The rest of the Flyers season was put on hold. A lot of questions arose from the fans. Will there still be playoffs? Can the Flyers still get in? Even though they're not quite there yet with points. Well, after a couple months of waiting through March, April, and then eventually May, Flyers hockey finally got started, but not the way we wanted. During the playoff formats were set up completely different. The Flyers had 3 preliminary games against the Bruins, Rangers, and Lightning. The Flyers won all 3 of those games. The Flyers' first opponent was the Montreal Canadiens. The Flyers had those preliminary games and playoff games. They had something called the bubble. Now, the 2 arenas that were used for these so-called bubbles were Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Canada, for the eastern portion of the playoffs. And for the Western Conference portion of the playoffs, would be at Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta. Both arenas had no fans, and the only thing that felt more real, they didn't have any fans in the arenas due to the pandemic. But they did have some fake crowd noise put in. This is a very strange way to play hockey, and to me it did not feel like Flyers hockey or Flyers playoff hockey, but we had to do what we had to do. It was a pandemic. Flyers' first opponent were the Montreal Canadiens. The Flyers beat the Canadiens to move on to the next round, where they faced off against the New York Islanders. This season, that series against the Islanders went down to the wire. Flyers had 3 consecutive overtime game victories against the Islanders in that series. In Game 6, the Islanders were able to beat the Flyers to force a Game 7. The card was set. It was the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the New York Islanders in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Flyers did everything they could, but Thomas Greiss was the answer for the Islanders, as the Flyers were eliminated by the New York Islanders in Game 7. The offseason began for the Philadelphia Flyers. There are some notable things about this season as well. Oscar Lindblom contracted cancer. Oscar Lindblom had battled cancer during the 2019-2020 season. In December of 2019, Oscar Lindblom was diagnosed with cancer. The Flyers did everything they could to honor Oscar Lindblom in his fight for cancer. Oscar Lindblom played in one of the playoff games in that series. Lindblom played well, and he had a great performance on that ice with the Flyers. But unfortunately, the Flyers lost to the Islanders in Game 7. I call this the last great Flyers season because this was the last Flyers season where the Flyers played some good hockey, made the playoffs. This would be the last time we see the Flyers in the playoffs. I'll be talking in the playoffs. The next season after, the Flyers did not make the playoffs. And the season after that, the Flyers didn't make playoffs once again in 21-22. And then 22-23, they didn't make the playoffs. And the year after that, they haven't made the playoffs. It's been a long time since this team has made the postseason. And this year, I'm really hoping this Flyers team can make the postseason for the first time since 2020. I'd like to see that. I always remember 2019. It's one damn good season. Even though things got complicated in the end, I still enjoyed this season. And every night after night, we were on the edge of our seats, watching this Flyers team perform well in front of all of us. Perform well again in front of this great city. It was a great honor to Mr. Ed Snyder, and a great honor to Oscar Lindblom, who was fighting cancer. This was one of the best seasons I've experienced. This season brought Flyers fans together. This season brought Flyers fans together. And each and every one of us got to share memories of this great season. I'll never forget this season. Flyers had guys like Matt Niskanen, Derek Grant, Travis Konecny, Claude Giroux, Jake Voracek, and many other great players on this hockey team. I'll always remember this season. A lot of us think that if the pandemic didn't happen, maybe the Flyers would have gotten far in the playoffs this season. You have a lot of promise, but sometimes we have no control over. Sometimes there are things in life we have no control over. And the pandemic was definitely one of those things that we had no control over. The Flyers did not have fans back in the arena until the 2021 abbreviated season. Late in the season, when fans at a certain capacity were allowed back in the arena. Well, that's all I have to say about this season. Guys, thank you. I really want to talk about this season. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you have anything to say in the comment section, go right ahead. If you have any requests for any Flyers seasons for me to talk about, please let me know in the comment section below. Please also, if you want to see more videos, subscribe to my channel, click that notification bell, and hit the all button to get all notifications from upcoming videos on my channel. Thank you for joining me, everyone, and let's go Flyers. I hope they make the postseason this year. I really do. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see fans in the arena when it happens. Have a good day, everyone.